Hi YouTube, this is Kristen Moonrise. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the full wolf moon in Leo upcoming on Thursday, January 25th. So this is the first full moon of the year, and as for me, I am a Leo sun, so the energies of this full moon in Leo really hits home for me. It was kind of personal. So I'll definitely get into all those details. So I am a data scientist and an astrologer. I'm open for booking for individual astrology consulting as well as business astrology consulting. So all of my contact information is in the description box. You can definitely check that out below. So let's just get into the video. So the traits of Leo. Leo is a masculine fire and fixed sign. The energies of Leo is that Leo is enthusiastic, expansive, exuberant, extravagant. The shadow side of Leo is that Leo can be very self-centered, conceited, overbearing, bullying. The key word for Leo is I will. I've also heard that it is I create. And so that means that Leo is the pleasurable, creative, dramatic, but self-indulgent of all of the signs. So here I've got the chart for the full wolf moon in Leo. As we see, Thursday, January 25th at 11:54 a.m. Central Standard Time is when the moon will be at its fullest. It's 100% visibility in fullness. I have the chart here for Houston, Texas, which is where I am from. It'll look different depending on your location, and it'll be at a different time. So, as we see here, the full moon in Leo is at 5 degrees 14 minutes of Leo, directly opposing the sun at 5 degrees and 14 minutes of Aquarius. And that is what gives us a full moon, is when the sun and moon are directly across from one another in the sky from our vantage point. So Aquarius season begins January 20th and Capricorn season ended on Friday the 19th. So you can definitely check out my previous video on the new moon in Capricorn. The next one upcoming will be a new moon in Aquarius. So the wolf moon is called this due to this being in the cold season. Native Americans saw wolves howling at this moon, at this full moon in particular, around this time of year. So that's why it's called full wolf moon. So full moons are about releasing trapped emotions. It's about surrendering to the divine. The full moon in Leo is not is about not allowing pride to get in your way. And with it being a fixed moon, it's about holding on to and remembering your overall vision at the same time of not letting your pride get in the way. So the big struggle that we see now in society is this extreme ego death, or this need for the ego to die. Our systems are really being challenged when asked to consider everyone instead of finding a way to exploit. And so we stop growing when we think that there's nothing left to learn. And as far as we've come in society, somehow there's still a need for everyone to believe in the same things and have the same monolithic view. So, and at the same time, we're asking too much of the younger generations without demanding enough of ourselves or being good enough examples to them. So literally every complaint we have is a reflection of us in some way. So essentially, don't be afraid to self-scan and see, you know, what about your ego may need to be checked. So on a more personal level, as we see here, the full moon in Leo is in the fourth house. I made my little scribbly numbers here on this chart. It didn't automatically list the houses here. I'm using the whole signs house system, and so the first house is always going to be where your ascendant is located. The ascendant is the constellation that is rising above at the eastern horizon. And so that's Taurus here. And so that's going to start the first house all the way around to 12 houses. So as we see here, the fourth house is where the full moon is located according to this whole sign system that I'm using, as well as the location of Houston, Texas. So the fourth house is the house of the home. So there may be some emotional and protective energies around family members. So yeah, perhaps even a bit overbearing with loved ones. So a big one for me that I had to really get honest with myself about, which I need to get honest with myself about daily, is to not be so hard on others when they aren't living up to your supposed expectations of them. The only thing that matters is if they are living up to their own expectations of themselves and living their purpose. Remember that although your vision is important, if you've got a shared vision on certain things, they still have their own personal vision and don't take their autonomy away. So essentially, tone it down. Don't let your pride get in the way of what's important. And I wrote here for myself, Leo, stop inserting yourself and stop trying to be the main character in other people's lives. So, but on a bit of a lighter note, this is still a time to really get creative, especially now that the sun is in Aquarius. So, taking from the last new moon in Capricorn, get creative and blend the old with the new with this Aquarius energy. And so real estate or finance of some kind would be good things to kind of, what to shake up with, real estate and finance, perhaps. And so I've decided to return back to school this semester and take a few graduate level finance courses myself. And as we see here, I know it's a little bit overlapping. There's a lot going on here in the constellation of Capricorn in the ninth house. But what we see here is that Mars is in the ninth house here. And the ninth house is the house of mental exploration. And so that represents, with Mars being in the ninth house, that represents being very headstrong and receptive to different types of financial endeavors. So something that businesses can take from this is that now we see that Pluto has now ingressed into Aquarius. Right here, we see at 0 degrees and 9 minutes of Aquarius, we locate Pluto. And so Pluto will be in Aquarius for 8 months. It will retrograde back into Capricorn on September 1st of this year, and then settle back into Aquarius on November 19th. 2024 and stay in Aquarius for 20 years. So Pluto is the planet of change, transformation, death and rebirth, elimination, and essentially wiping the slate clean. So this is really still good for everyone, but a great opportunity for businesses to really reflect their commitment to diversity and sustainability. This new Pluto and Aquarius energy shows us there's really no escaping these changes, and the double talk of how organizations are supposedly caring about their employees, but yet they're laying them off because they overhired and misjudged and miscalculated. That just won't hold up anymore. And Capricorn is all about the public standing. So the organizations will have to change their business models. The full moon in Leo can help usher in these energies by finding your voice and allowing space for others and not squashing them. There was a quote by a juror in one of those Trump cases that I don't remember which one it was, but that said that if everyone in America knew all of the details, all of the evidence, in that particular case, then the country would not be as divided as it is, which I thought was a really interesting statement from that drawer. So the more we know about everything, the more information we know, the more we lead, the more we've got more information to go with. So the more we can lead our community with a brotherhood type energy, and that's what Aquarius is all about. And so we've got the loyalty with Leo. There will be much needed shifts in where loyalty lies when it comes to business and organizations and partnerships and stakeholders. So I'm just going to pause here and just mention my offerings. If you like my videos, definitely please consider working with me directly. I offer business consulting in astro strategy and astro personnel. And as I mentioned before, I do individual offerings also. And so included in the service for individuals, you will receive visualizations on your exact individual planetary placement, such as this one. And so this is basically just a scatter plot showing the placement of the planets. It's another way to look at the astrology wheel that I just had up before. So as we see here, the moon is in Leo, just as we were saying, and the sun here is in Aquarius, like we mentioned before. And also now Pluto is in Aquarius. So this is just another way to look at the chart. And so I have a tarot pick for this particular moon. I think this one perhaps was maybe even too obvious, but I think it's still a great message. And I guess we can never drive it too hard. So I picked the Strength card. And so the Strength card is really being able to control your feelings and emotions through grace and acceptance. This is a time where we need to be honest with that part about ourselves that feels the need to dominate others. Don't let your fears or anxiety lead you to being too hard on yourself. And really, this is all about taming your inner beast and about embodying grace, maturity, and strength while we go through these shifts of consciousness and energies, and lots of different things are changing now. The old is familiar, but its days are numbered essentially, and what we need to do to really co-create that future that we need to not tarry on when it comes to building it. We need to be building it now. And so here it's just a bar plot of basically what planets are in what constellations, what signs that the planets are in. And so we've got one planet in a fire sign, which just so happens to be the moon in Leo. But we have a lot of Earth energy here. So there's 5 planets in Earth signs. So not so much that this won't be too hard of an emotional shift to make, but you are very supported and grounded with a lot of Earth energy in needing to shift these negative egoic energies that this full moon in Leo is highlighting for us. So I just jotted down a few reflections to make on staying grounded during this time. So here's just one. I have about 6 of them. So try not to overcomplicate things. Many times the simplest answer is the answer. Hold yourself to the same standard that you want to see of others. Try to ensure that your perspective is a cosmic, zoomed out view of things and less of a narrow, zoomed in, or restrictive perspective. Know that every belief is a limiting belief until you're ready to see the next most expansive view. Back off from the strong, I will make this happen energy, and adopt instead the I will allow things to be what they are energy. So, and the last one would be, is your ego based off of fear? Know that the fears that you have, not everyone else has or needs to have. So basically just identifying, are your actions rooted in fear, and asking yourself, is this a fear that other people have, or is this just something that I have that may be irrational, that I might be projecting onto others? So in short, I hope that you enjoyed this video of this upcoming full moon in Leo happening on Thursday, January 25th. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.